Okay, so let's begin by looking at Colin Cloud, the human lie detector.
Yeah.
It's actually easier if I give you a quick example of what I do before we get
Okay,
into
so
the
this
main
is where he's going to
event.
do
Lady
that
at the
quick
front,
example.
would you hold up your two hands just like this? Yep, just hold.
So for me, if I'm going to do this kind of trick with two random audience members, I mean, he's going to say she's a teacher and he's a police officer. Two simple ways of doing it. They're in on it with him in the trick, they're his friends. Or, very simply, he has another friend who just struck up a random conversation with two people there. Like, maybe this guy's their mate, and he just struck up a random conversation with these two and say, hey, what do you do for a living? She says she's a teacher. He says, I'm a police officer. And then that information, hours earlier was done while all the other acts were going on. And that information just gets relayed to him, and he comes up, and that's how he does it. Otherwise, there's really no other way to do a trick like that.
Okay, would I be correct if I'm wrong? Be honest.
I mean,
are you a teacher?
This is nonsense.
Yes, that's your job. The guy
So he knows the information beforehand. It's just that simple.
You a police officer?
You could apply that to any sort of trick. Just have someone do some pre-work beforehand, pass you that information, and you'll be done. But let's get to the actual trick. It's far more interesting. And he does it really well, I think. I mean, the way I would do it is exactly the way I think he's doing it. So right now we've got a white cat in there with the name Oscar, so it is a force. He's forcing white, cat, and Oscar, all forced.
Detecting when people are lying. So with this in mind, I want to teach you how this works with a very simple game that I learned as a child, starting with Howie. Howie, I'm going to give you a coin.
Okay, so right now he's got the coin here, and that's... the way you would do it, there's probably hundreds of ways to do this particular trick, but there's some sort of frequency or magnetic effect or something to do with this particular coin where when your hand with the other object gets very close to it, it's going to set off some sort of vibration, some sort of signal to let you know that that's where the coin is. So you see how he's grabbing something from his pocket?
I will also give you...
Okay, so that's not the part actually. So he does some little nonsense here. Okay, so now's when he's doing it. So just that little bit there where you saw him...
I give you a coin. I will also give you an antibacterial wipe should you request it.
So whatever he's doing now with that right hand, he's placing that secondary item, which is going to reveal which hand the coin is in every time. Not sure what the item is, but I'm sure there's hundreds of them out there if you just Google it.
All I want you to do is place the coin behind your back, please.
So he has it now in his right hand here. Okay, so that particular item is here. And watch how, when he goes, is it in this? Well, let's play it and we'll see.
Straight out in front of you like this. Give nothing away. Just say yes both times. Does that make sense? Yes. That was perfect, Harry. Right. Is the coin in this hand?
So he says, is the coin in this hand? And he's put his hand over it.
Yes. Is the coin in this hand?
And he's put his hand over it, right? So whichever side he puts, while this hand is nicely over it, it is sending some sort of signal. And he did it for both hands. We didn't see the first hand, but he does do it always for both hands. At least he would definitely do it if he doesn't feel it in the first hand, just to make sure it's not, how he didn't put it in either hand just to mess with him. Okay, so he's checked. He knows which hand it's in at this point.
In this hand, yes. Now, when he said yes for real, when he meant it, his eyebrows raised.
This is all,
slightly.
great showmanship, I guess, saying his nose is slightly pointing this way. I mean, I don't even see that his nose is slightly pointing this way. I mean, it probably could be pointing either way. But yeah, no, it's good showmanship.
Slightly here, so I believe it's in this hand. Turn it over, let me see.
So he knows
yes.
This hand, again, like I said, it remains closed. He picks it up just with his two fingers, but keeps this closed at all times. Yes, so the item is always there. It's always in this hand, that little thing.
I want to
always
try this with the three of you as well. What I'd love you to do now, place the coin behind your back. Everyone on this side of the room.
Still closed. Will end up being open at points.
Think of a simple color. In the middle, think of any animal. And over here, think of any name. Hold your hand straight out, Mel, facing me.
Okay, so it's not in this hand, it's in that hand, right?
Shout those.
So he's still got it closed, obviously. So he's saying shout out random colors. He's just going to pick one color that he hears, and then always the other color is going to be white. Every time. I mean, for sure somebody yelled out white, but he's always, even if somebody didn't yell out white, there's 100 people yelling out colors, he's going to pretend he heard white and whatever the other color is. So just watch, I guess.
those colours nice and loud in 3, 2, 1, go.
White or, and then he points to someone, which is really good because then he can say as if I heard white, but then or when he points to that other person, he's actually going to say the colour that that person said.
Blue, perfect.
Okay, so that person really said blue down there, and he just randomly went with white because that's the colour he needs to force. So now he, at this point, has no idea which hand the coin's in. Okay, so what he needs to do, he needs to figure out which hand the coin is in first, and then say, if you are thinking of white, I want you to think of the coin in this hand, or if the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of white. If the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of blue. That's what he's going to say. But he needs to figure out which hand it's in first and then just force it. So watch.
Look at me, straight face.
If the coin, so right now, if he feels the vibration here or whatever, he's going to say if the coin, he now knows it's in this hand, let's say. So he says, if the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of white, because he already knows it's here. If he feels nothing, then he knows it's over here. So he's going to say, if the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of blue. So he's saying that so that if you think of blue, he can force it whichever way he needs to force it. So it's just a simple force, really. But his timing is brilliant because he's already speaking as he's reaching his hand forward, which I really like.
Coins in this hand, think white.
So he's already now knows it's there. So he said, if the coin is in this hand, think, and you can see he knows it beforehand.
So look at me, straight face. If the coin's
now he knows. If the coin's in, so he felt it, so he said, okay, now I need to say white.
in this hand, think white. If it's in this hand, think blue. Look at me, just think, is it white?
So it doesn't matter what she thinks, because he's told her which hand, she already knows which hands it's in. Now he said that that's the way you think. So she's going to be thinking of white, but it doesn't matter, because he could have done it the other way.
Just think, or is it blue? I believe you're thinking white, the coin is here. Turn it over, let me see. Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really well done. And he'll do the exact same thing again for Heidi. So he needs cat, and he needs anything else.
Animals, any animal, go! Cat, or a cheetah.
Cat, like that. Very good.
Cat or cheetah. It must be in one of your hands. Hold them straight out with absolute aggression, Heidi. I love it.
So again, he's going to say if it is in this, and at that point he'll know whether the cat was in the first hand. If not, he'll say cheetah.
Right. If the coin's in this hand, think cheetah.
So you see how he's already got his hand out before he says the name of the item. If he'd said right now, okay, if it's in the right hand, think cat, then he's doing it a different way.
But right. If the coin's
in this hand, so right now he knows that there's nothing there. So he says,
in this hand, think cheetah. If it's in this hand, think cat. So look at me, really send the animal, okay? I am petrified. You are thinking, cat, the coin is here. Turn it over, open it up. Yes, 2 out of 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Hand is still closed.
Simon, would you be so kind? Behind your back, sir. Either hand. Those names, any names, shout them in 3, hold on. Charlie or... What was yours? Oscar.
So this guy's a plant for sure. 100% he's his friend. He went to the guy, he needed him to say Oscar, he needed everybody to hear Oscar. Wasn't a random audience member he just pointed to. He said went with Charlie, which whatever, but definitely this guy's a plant, he's his friend, and he asked him to yell out Oscar really loud so he could go to him, and that's the one he's going to use. I mean, you could see he clearly wanted to use that guy.
Names, any names, shout them in 3, hold on. Charlie or... What was yours? Oscar. Okay, Charlie or Oscar. Hands out.
That's a straight force. I mean, his mate just gave him the answer, and now he's just going to force it straight onto Simon. So let's see how he does it here. He's going to do the same thing. If the coin is in this hand, so right now his hand's over Simon's hand.
Think Charlie. If it's in this hand, think Oscar. And I get distracted sometimes when I do this. The blonde girl behind you is looking very nervous, hoping I don't reveal one of her embarrassing memories. Just don't move. Look at me. Are you thinking about a memory when you were a kid? But there's a name involved with this that you were thinking, and we've never met before. Be honest, we don't know each other. The last name, is it Miller? Yes. Okay.
So again, this is pre-work. It's one of two ways. It's either she's part of the act, which I don't believe she is. I believe this trick can be done just as well with pre-work. Simply have someone else go up, get that information from her, however you want to do it. I mean, just strike up a conversation with someone and eventually you can get all kinds of random information and then pick the one that's the most unique and then come up on stage and then just do that particular reveal. But again, that's just pre-work. It's not any sort of body language or anything like that.
Okay, right. So, Simon, if it's in this hand, it was Oscar, this hand, Charlie. You are thinking Oscar, the coin's here. Let me see, turn it over.
So he
open it
literally
up,
just
see.
forced
Yes,
all
Oscar,
three
yes!
items, white, cat
Here's
and
the thing.
Oscar, because that was
Before
always going to be the
I walked onto
reveal.
this stage tonight, I had
Yeah,
some
so and then
ideas about the
obviously he
type
does
of
this little
Oscar.
song and dance here,
Open the lid, I don't want to
and
lid.
then,
Side of
yep, this was
here
always there,
is
Oscar, white, cat. Great trick. That's how I would do it. Simply just force the items on each person by making it look like it was completely a free choice. It looks like the audience completely chose each of the names, each of the colors, when in reality he chose everything, bar the last one, which I would say is a complete stooge was in the audience who worked with him. That's what I would basically say. Thanks for watching that. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and then leave in the comments if there's any other videos you'd like me to try to figure out or explain how I would do it. Thanks for watching.